Hello everyone, Spaced Oyster here, and welcome back to Fire Emblem Randomized. I decided to start in the, this is going to be the final chapter, Light. I decided to start in the battle preparation screen here, because I figured since this is the final battle preparation screen, and we're going right into the final battle after this, or pretty much immediately, I figured why not cover a few extra details, or over who I'm bringing and why. I figured it'd be a nice little montage. So there are 5 units you are forced to bring, that is Hector, Nils, Eliwood, and Lyn, as well as our newest recruit, Athos, however you pronounce his name. Athos is an 11th hour ranger who joins right at the start of this chapter. He comes with 4 Blaze, Aureola, and then he also brings 3 weapons for our main lords. He usually brings Durandal for Eliwood, Armads for Hector, and the Soul Coddy for Lyn. But in this, with the randomizer on, he tends to get random stuff. He came with Fire, Divine, and the Soul Coddy. I don't know why. Anyway, yeah, I don't need to talk about Athos much because since he's always joins at max level with his stats pretty much fixed and guaranteed to kick as much ass as possible in the final chapter, he's good. He's just good. I gave him the body ring that we picked up in I think it was chapter 31, the last defense map where we had Denning. I gave him the body ring to boost his constitution from 9 to 11. That way he can use 4 Blaze, his own personal tome, without losing any speed, and he only loses 1 when using Luna, and 3 from using Aureola. One thing to note about this tome is that it's effective against a few enemies in this final chapter, 2 very key ones, but it only requires an S rank in light magic to use. So if you've got a good light magic user trained up, you can give this to them if you don't want Athos to use it, or if you want them to gang up on them. Athos has S in every magic type. He is amazing. Anyway, moving on, the next units will be this game. The final chapter allows you to bring 12 units in total. These first 5 are forced, so you're allowed to bring 7 more. So I figured I'd give you a montage of the 7 units I picked out to accompany our main 6. So first up is Jafar. Jafar has proved to be an asset from the moment he was a green unit in Battle Before Dam. Jafar basically is the highlight of using a randomizer, since no matter what class he changes into, he gets a massive improvement thanks to Assassin being absolutely abysmal. And as a paladin, he has been my go-to guy whenever I need a problem solved, usually in the form of an enemy killed. There is no other combat unit I'd rather bring. Jafar will naturally be coming along with a Brave Lance for that maximum damage, and a Silver Lance, just in case he needs 1 stronger hit, and then the Killer Axe for weapon triangle advantage, and Hand Axe if he needs a ranged option. I did not get him up to B rank in axes, unfortunately, but that S rank, or B rank in axes, but the S rank in lances will be invaluable. Unit number 2 is Dorcas. I have flip-flopped my opinion on Dorcas this whole playthrough, but he has proven to be quite useful in spite of my wishy-washy attitude towards him. Dorcas may have started off a bit weak, but after promotion and getting all of his stats increased, he's proved to be a very valuable ally overall. In particular, his access to dark magic, which has been surprisingly helpful, and his A support with Bartra ended up making up for his deficiencies early on. Dorcas is going to be basically a staff bot. I gave him Warp, Recover, Physic, and Restore, and Luna. I had 2, so I gave 1 to Athos, and the other is on Dorcas here. He's going to be using Luna as his sole offensive tome. It's only got 15 uses left, but I'm confident that's all he'll need to get through this chapter, especially since Athos does a lot of the heavy lifting. Yeah, not much more to say about bringing Dorcas along. Next up is Canas. Now, I got 3 bards in this playthrough, and really any of them could fill this slot, but I decided to bring Canas along because he was at max level and he already had all the stuff I wanted to bring along anyway. But really, Nino or Guy could do this job as well as Canas, but Canas is just going to be in... Canas is already going to go along since he got to max level, thanks to me using him a whole bunch, and he's already got all the stuff. I could not imagine doing this chapter without a bard, and unfortunately, Nils is not up to the task. Oh yeah, Canas. Awesome. Alright, my next unit is a surprise, even to me, is Renault. Renault is a late arrival character. He joined in 2 chapters before this final one, and I was torn on whether or not to actually bring him, but ultimately decided on him over most of the other units I could have brought. Renault is going to provide some semi-reliable chip damage for me, thanks to being a sniper, and with the access to a brave bow and a silver bow, and a long bow, he should be able to provide me good chip damage without fear of getting counterattacked. And even if he does, his high speed and defense should keep him safe. So I'm hoping Renault will be a nice asset. I did practice this map once, and I didn't bring Renault, but this is basically just me subbing him in because the other unit I replaced didn't actually do that much now that I think about it. And then there's Luscious, the Luscious Lucius. Really, this probably isn't a surprise to anyone. Lucius has just been so good this whole playthrough. I pretty much only fielded him initially thinking that, well, I should round out my crew and having an extra flyer never hurts, and he proved that to be a very strong sentiment. He also made great use of the Apha's drops, increasing his growth rates and maxing out most of his stats. He is a bit on the frail side. That 9 defense is not doing him any favors, and 9 luck makes him susceptible to critical hits. But I'm confident Lucius is going to be an asset this whole chapter, thanks to his good movement, boosted by the boots, as well as his near-perfect stats. I gave him a Silver Lance and a Killing Edge, so that way he has his full weapon coverage with the strongest weapons he can wield, as well as 2 javelins. I am sad that he didn't get up to B rank in swords to use the Brave Sword for me, which is why, well, I'll cover that later, but yeah, not having the Brave Sword on him is a bit of a downside, but it's one I'll work with. And then there's Bartra! Who can forget Bartra? Usually the worst unit in the game, he ended up being one of my most powerful and valuable assets in the early to mid game. Although he might have also been a downside for me overall, since I ended up playing a lot slower than I could have, thanks to his lower movement. And then he did admittedly fall off near the end there. His defense is lower than Jafar's, but overall, Bartra proved to be a very good unit for this playthrough, and he gets to come along thanks in no small part to his good weapon ranks and decent stats. Being able to use A rank in axes and S rank in lances means he's pretty much well equipped to use either of those weapons to help me out. His inventory is also one of the more interesting ones. He's got the Brave Axe and the Hammer for niche situations, and then a Silver Lance and a Silver Axe, just in case for generic stuff, and then the Tomahawk instead of a Hand Axe for his ranged option. Last but not least is Will. The Troubadour turned Valkyrie was the first healer I got in my playthrough, and while he did join later than I had hoped, he ended up being a most valuable ally overall. In spite of his stats turning out to be crap thanks to his not-so-great growth rates, I am confident that Will can contribute just as much in this final chapter as he has been the whole game. Well, ever since he joined. Alright, and yeah, that was it. Let's go over that will be my crew for this chapter. So let me go over some other units I was considering bringing along. Rebecca was initially in one of those slots. I was bringing her along because she was basically she had the same amount of speed as Lucius, but had a bit more physical defense. But I decided to drop her for Renault since I didn't actually have her do anything when I was practicing earlier, and Renault's chip damage could prove to be valuable, much more valuable overall. I was also considering Wrath. You can never go wrong with more staff users, and Wrath pretty much has all the same benefits that Will does. He was a bit weaker though. Or, well, no, Will and Wrath are about even. I ultimately decided on Will though, because he was around longer, and it's just kind of funny to bring him along. Both of them could pretty much do the exact same job. I was considering bringing along Guy and or Nino, as the last chapter proved, having an extra bard never, ever hurts. And then I also considered either Hawkeye or Veda. They are both much tankier than, basically Bartra and Rebecca and Renault, thanks to their higher defense and hit point values. But ultimately I decided to leave them on the bench because I got offenses covered, and if I really need to tank with defenses, Lucius has enough resistance and Jafar has enough defense, and with a boost from Kanas's Ninen's Grace, either of them could get the job done just as effectively as Hawkeye or Veda. Plus, this last chapter doesn't have any unusual terrain, so I don't have to worry too much about that. One thing in favor of Veda is that she has an A rank in swords, so she would be capable of using that Brave Sword. But beyond that, yeah. And I think that covers it. The other options were, of course, Pent and Harkin, since they both can use the Brave Sword. But they would both be an inferior choice to Vida. Yeah, that's it. If you're thinking of your own units to bring on your own playthrough, if you're looking for story-related units to bring along, there are 4 units I can recommend purely for story purposes, although they can be good units in their own right too. That would be Pent, Louise, Nino, and Legault. Pent and Louise have their final 2 conversations in the 2-parter of the final chapter. And Nino and Legault get to interact with a few of the bosses that we'll be encountering in this sprint to the end. Anyway, I suppose I should go over a few more interesting inventory things. I'm having Nils, Lin, and Eliwu bring along some extra items that might be useful. Mostly elixirs, but Nils has some extra staves for me. Rescue might come in handy. I don't know if I'll need an extra recover, but it's there. I also got my extra physic and my most durable barrier. Lin has the Delphi shield. I don't think Lucius will need it, but it's there if he does. Hector, meanwhile, he's got his 2 Thunder Tomes and a heal staff, so just in case I need a little extra healing, he can do that. I also gave him a Bolting Tome. He should be staying far away from any combat, but with that bolting, he can contribute something, maybe. Hopefully. Alright, so let's jump right on in there. Yeah, this is them sending Merlinus away. He's not available for the final chapter. And Hector is pretty overconfident. There is no way you can handle all these enemies yourself, Hector. You are weird. Anyway, so this is basically going to be a boss rush. Nurgle is hiding out up here, and there are some really tough enemies in all of these rooms. Each door opens once per turn, and they all have resurrected versions of bosses we've faced throughout the game, basically resurrected as morphs by Nurgle. So the first door that always opens is this one down here. It has 2 Snippers and Yuhai. You'll remember Yuhai from our first arrival on the Dread Isle. He was the first boss we faced here, and we had to defeat him in a certain number of turns in order to make it to the chapter after that. So, my sinister plan for dealing with Yuhai is going to be none other than Jafar. Thanks to Jafar's extremely high hit rate, well, having the highest defense of the group I brought along, as well as being able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, I'll remind you of it when I think of it, but for now, Jafar's just pretty much my best bet for tanking a hit from Yuhai before I retaliate with one of my other units. I'm gonna go ahead and slap him down right here, so I don't have to worry too much about these snippers getting close. Those two snipers, they do have long bows, so be very extra wary of both of them, as well as your own positioning. Alright, I'm gonna send Athos up to the next door that's gonna open, and he's gonna equip Luna. I'm going to want Canas to be pretty close, so let's pick him up and drop him off right around here. I guess I could let Hector try and break through and hit someone with bolting. Let's go for this guy. Yeah, when you attack the regular enemies that are in some of these boss rooms, you get generic boss music, but when you're fighting one of the morphs, they have better boss music. Alright, yeah, Lin and Eliwu can talk. Nurgle revealed some very personal stuff regarding Hector in the early parts of this chapter. Alright, let's get everyone down here just in case. And no need to physic there. And then... Yeah. Okay. Let's see how this first turn goes. Alright. And if you brought Legault along, he can have a conversation. Well, not really a conversation, but he can talk to Yuhai, and he'll make a remark. Or some sort of remark. Legault and Yuhai are probably two of the only members of the Black Fang who were there before Nurgle took over. Well, those two plus the Reed family, Brendan, Lloyd, Linus, before Sonya and Nino showed up, and then Nurgle ruined everything through those two. Alright. That is the first turn survived. Now we just need to finish off Yuhai. They could have made him a bit more dangerous by giving him an actual sword, but I'm not complaining. Do make sure that you don't put anyone in their actual range, Yuhai's range. If possible, you want to keep Yuhai from moving out or whatever. But before we focus on that, I'm going to give Athos a buff with Ninen's Grace. If you're not careful, Athos can get killed up here. So, Kenneth here. We didn't actually see Kenneth in my playthrough. He is the boss of chapter, I want to say 26? Or something like that. No, 27. Pale Flower of Darkness. He is the boss you will face if your magic units are stronger than your Hero Crest units. Yeah, and I guess he's only here because he was the only light magic enemy you face as a boss. But yeah, Kenneth is just a priest-turned assassin. Then we also have a sage and a druid in here. Definitely kill that sage as soon as possible. That bolting can be disastrous. Oh, I probably should have turned on Athos's animations. He actually looks really neat. And Nils, we already have Renault's on. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I have Nils on. His are not really necessary. Speaking of not necessary, though, let's go ahead and, I guess I want to Brave Lance this guy down. Oh, thank God for the crit, Jafar. You're a lifesaver. Otherwise, I probably would have had to find some other way to take care of him. Yeah, and then color returns to their cheeks, and then they die. It's a very sweet thing. The Ray and Fletch is an S rank bow. I don't know what it means by can strike consecutively. I think that's the same description on brave weapons. It is not true. This is not a brave bow. It's just a regular bow. Think of it as a stronger silver bow. I kind of want to keep it, so I'm going to drop the silver lance. Yeah, drop the silver lance. Alright. And then I just need to make sure I can take out that sniper. Before I send Will charging in there. Let's see. Dorcas, you're doing 32. Can you not do something with the longbow? Well, he can, but if I longbow, then I can't reach him, because... Quite the sticky situation. But that is 16, so basically 16 times 3. That is 16 times 3 anyway. Let's see. 48. Alright, so let's go for it. We'll have Will attack here. I just want to try and feed Will a few extra levels in this final chapter. We'll rescue you with Bartra. Let's go ahead and attack with Renault first, since his defenses are higher, but maybe Dorcas can do more damage? He's got a 46% crit rate. Worth it. Let's try it. Woo! Way to get a crit, Dorcas. You dork. Woo! Okay, let's get Renault moving up this way. Ellie Woo, you're going to take and drop Will. In the meantime, I'm actually going to move Lynn up here, and we're going to get that Delphi shield. I do believe I'm going to need it. Let's drop a javelin for now. Yeah, just like that. Let's see, can I get Nils more... Or, not Nils, but Canis more centralized? Not easily, no. Okay. For now, let's just work like that. Ooh, excuse me. Anyway, now, on to the next turn. Yeah, so, Kenneth here, I had to buff Athos, because he'd normally deal 14 damage with loose, and that 9% crit rate could be very dangerous for the Arc Sage. But fortunately, with Luna, even at the weapon triangle disadvantage, Athos only needs to hit him twice with that 100% hit rate. And that gets us the Light Magic Tome loose. A very horrible weapon. As is this one, Guess Peasant. Or Guess Penst. I don't know how to pronounce that. It is the S rank Dark Tome added into this game. There is nothing particularly special about it. It does a lot of... It has a very high might, but it also weighs a lot. Like, this is one heavy book. Seriously, 20 pounds. I'm gonna go ahead and actually throw away this elixir. I don't think it'll be necessary. Anyway, our next door contains Brendan Reed. I don't know why I called him Brendan. We never actually got to face Brendan in the game proper, but he is the head of the Black Fang, or was, until Sonia ended up killing him to take control of the Black Fang herself. Although at that point there weren't really any members left. We didn't Yeah, Brennan Reed, probably a nice guy. We never actually got to know. We never got to encounter him, but he did serve as sort of a primary antagonist since he was the head of the group that was mainly getting in our way. Alright, let's see. And he does massive damage. Massive! Alright. So we lose 2 points. So subtract 2. 30 plus 42 is a lot. Now let's see if buffing up the Luscious Lucius's defense will make a difference here. If not, we may need to lure these guys out. Let's see, 32. 32 plus 20. Yeah, I may need to lure these guys out. Ooh, no, I do not. Wait, yes I do. Because Luscious is only doing... You'd have to score a critical hit to get this guy down. Unless Hector can do 9 points of damage. It's a risky bet, but I'll take it. Woo! Alright, and then we Killing Edge down here. I was hoping Luscious would get a crit. Well, not that kind of crit, Luscious. How could you let me down? How could you? Woo! Not like it's gonna help you too much, but you capture your resistance at least. You just gotta keep everyone else out of Brendan's range, because he hits like a fire truck. Let's see, we're gonna want to get Bartra up north a bit, as we'll want to do with our pretty much our entire gang over here. Sorry, this is one of my favorite final levels in any game ever. I love it. I just love it. Let's get Renault close to. Lynn, you can back up a bit. Alright, let's see how this goes. Yeah, and I do believe both Nino and Legault will say something if they get to fight Brendan. Brendan was Nino's adoptive father, and as the head of the Black Fang, Legault worked for him personally. Very interesting guy. I do wish we got to learn more about him. The Basilicos is an S-rank axe. Very, very handy. Well, not really. It's kind of really heavy. I do believe Hector can almost use it without being over-encumbered. I'm going to go ahead and drop one of these javelins, because Lynn's got another one for Lucius. Alright, this next room can be a bit tricky. Well, not really. In it is Darren, the Marquess, or Marquis, however you pronounce that word, of Laws. He is basically the Nurgle's main pawn in his scheme to start a world war, and would have succeeded had Ellie Wu not decided to intervene. Anyway, or happened to intervene. Anyway, we faced Darren at the Dragon's Gate before plot stuff happened, and we learned more about what that place was, or this place. This chapter takes place in it. Let's see, he's doing 46, and this guy does 36. 46 minus 19 is... 25. 25. Okay, so you're good, actually. I'm going to go ahead and put Bartra right in his range, equipped with that hammer. Thank you, Bartra, for having a high constitution that keeps you hale and healthy. Let's see, we're going to need to heal up Luscious. Let's go ahead and get him down here. We also want to heal up Athos, because why not? Okay. And I do want... Actually, I do want Dorcas to stay closer to Bartra. So, let's go ahead and recover Luscious. Yeah, when I was practicing, I actually had to drop so many of these S-rank weapons because, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, yeah, because Dorcas got the kill, and I didn't want to drop anything in Dorcas's inventory. Anyway, let's play for him. Move him over here, and can Hector do any damage? He can do a little bit of damage. Alright. Well, let's call that a turn. Now, I'm gonna want to heal up Jafar, too. Alright, here we go. I could have healed him up with Hector. Why didn't I do that? I forgot to double check if Bartra gets doubled. He doesn't. We're good. We are good. But we're still not farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Alright, this next door contains Ursula. I believe she is the Blue Crow. I forget her exact moniker. But she was one of the Four Fangs, the four most powerful assassins within the Black Fang. She was going to execute Nino and Jafar in the Palace of Bern for botching Zephiel's assassin in Battle Before Dawn. Honestly, I wish they had actually killed Zephiel. They would have saved so much hassle in the next game, or previous game, whichever one. Anyway, Ursula is a lot less dangerous here, thanks to not having a bolting tome. And, well, even though she doesn't have it, she can still be quite the powerhouse, but I'm confident we can take her. Joining her is Jerm or Jeremy. He is one of the two potential bosses of Pale Flower of Darkness. He is the one we faced on this playthrough. He was formerly he was formerly one of the Four Fangs, but he lost that position to Jafar. And just like in Pale Flower of Darkness, he is a complete joke because of his weapon choice. The rune sword here is basically a Nosferatu tome, but in sword form, so you don't have to worry about crits from him. He can't pull them off at any range. Ursula is the more dangerous of the two. Make sure you get a good unit to tank her. Let's see. Unfortunately, you can't do any damage to Darren. I don't think Hector can either. Dorcas probably can. Yeah, but I'm worried about having to drop something with Dorcas. Well, you know what? Lynn will trade for his Warp Staff. And then we'll try and Luna down. Yeah, Luna him down. Nope, that did not work. It did not work. Fortunately, though, I do believe a Brave Axe from... nope, that's not going to work either. Okay, then. New plan. We're going to Phila's Might Bartra. And then, hammer time. Oh, that was such a huge gamble, I didn't even think about if Bartra had missed. Alright, that gives us the Rex Hasta, an S-rank lance. I'm going to drop my silver lance for it, because honestly, the silver lance is going to be basically just an inferior Rex Hasta for Bartra. Let's go ahead and use... yeah, let's go ahead and heal up Jafar. And then we're going to Physic Bartra, because I want to get him a little bit topped off. That other general there slightly scares me. Slightly, though. Woo! Another level up for Will. Alright, and Athos is the only one in Ursula's range, so we're good. We are good. Yeah, Luna basically trivializes her. Oh, good. I just realized she drops that Excalibur thing she's wielding, which is the S-ranked anima tome that any of your anima magic users can wield. So Urk, Pent, Nino, Priscilla, any of them, as long as they get to an S rank in anima magic, they can use it just fine. Yay, level up for Bartra! Alright, and then in the final door, we have the Reed brothers. Lloyd, the White Wolf, is a sword master of peerless skill. Or, I guess, not really peerless. Jerem has a higher skill stat. You know what? You get the point. He was really dangerous for us in Four-Fanged Offense, where he was right there in our faces, dealing so much damage. And he is joined by his brother Linus, the Mad Dog. A hero, well, he's good with swords too, but he can really kick a lot of ass with axes or swords. A dangerous foe to watch out for at any range. They also have an A support together, so while Lloyd and Linus are close to each other, they are going to be even stronger. I highly recommend luring them towards you, backing off a bit, and all that fun stuff. Let's see. Renault can't quite clinch it, or cinch it, whatever the right word is. Bet Jafar can. And he probably could if he had a Silver Lance, which I dropped. You know what? I have a solution for this. We'll give him the Rex Hasta. There we go. And that is Ursula down. I don't know if Legault has anything to say to her. I think she was more loyal to Sonia than she was to Brennan and the Black Fang. I do want Excalibur. Let's throw out that that killer axe for it. Alright, and then the joke Jerem. Let's just use Luna on him. And we got a crit. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Alright, we're gonna definitely want to get people healed up. And watch out for, well, basically everything. Oh, these are the only two that took damage. Okay then, let's recover. And then let's also trade around to make sure I get, make sure I'm holding on, well, having my useless characters holding on to useless stuff. Let's see, I believe you have, yep, you have Excalibur. Let's go ahead and take that. You can have one of those elixirs. And Lucius here has the Basilicos. I don't know why I played for Lynn. Whatever. Let's go ahead and trade Eliwu the Basilicos. And get everyone down here. Alright. Yeah, Lloyd and Linus are definitely the toughest parts of this. I do believe both Legault and Nino will say something if forced to engage either of them. Or maybe it's just one of them. I am not 100% sure. The tricky thing to keep an eye out for is, of course, the tomahawk that Linus has. Alright, we're gonna Ninen's Grace up for Jafar. I'm going to want him to engage Lloyd since he has the Iron Rune, and we're going to do it with the Brave Lance equipped, so that way we can maximize our damage output. Yeah, 2 attacks with, oh hey, the Rex Hast is lighter. Anyway, 2 attacks with 32 might beats out 1 attack at 43, although let's double check that actually. 29 speed, and he's losing none from the Regal Blade. So 29, yeah, Jafar gets doubled no matter what, so let's just stick with that Brave Lance. Oh wait, I should have double checked damage. 43 and 23. I think Jafar takes nothing. Alright, let's keep everyone else close. Hector can't even do damage, let alone hit him. That would be a joke. Alright, well then let's give you a Thunder just in case. Let's get Lynn and Eliwu and Nils backed into this room here so they're nice and safe. Athos will stay nice and close, as will, and Lucius, doesn't matter where you're at. Bartra's a little too far away, but it's fine, we will make do. Wait, Lynn has my warp staff, doesn't she? Oh wait, no, he does 8 damage, never mind. Anyway, it'll get a lot tougher to kill Lloyd on the next turn, because Linus is going to be hot on his trail, or tail, whatever the right word is. Fortunately, he has a Brave Sword equipped, so he is susceptible to ranged attacks. One lucky hit from Athos should be more than enough. Yep. That is Lloyd down. Although, now I have to choose between dropping one of these tomes or the Regal Blade. I'm gonna throw out that Regal Blade. I don't have anyone who can even use it, so why bother? Yeah, you got the Warp Staff. Okay, new plan. You're gonna trade that over to Will. Okay, next up we're gonna see... Renault, I'm so glad I brought you. You're just contributing so little. Alright, well, you know what they say. Alright. Huh. 22 damage versus 10, 20, or, well, 44 to 20. Jafar definitely survives. No chance of taking extra damage. This is a good risk. And I love the look of Lloyd as a hero. His hero sprite is actually pretty identical to what Raven's normally is in-game. Let's see, we might be able to score the kill with Dorcas. Well, a lucky crit would need to happen. Why not? Let's try it. Aww. Well, you tried, Hector. Oh, wait, I forgot. Renault. Renault can do it. Oh, God, he looks so weird. Alright, and... yeah, we're all set. Let's try the Luna. Woo! Way to get a crit, Dorcas. And that opens up the final door, which contains Nurgle, as well as a Druid with an Eclipse and Berserk, and a Sage with Fimbulvetter and Fortify. Or is it Fimbulvetter? I don't know. Anyway, the Druid, just watch out for that Berserk, which is why I brought Dorcas and Will along. They have Restore Staves. Make sure you're very careful once that door opens, which will happen once you've killed all the boss enemies. If you want to prolong or control exactly when it opens, back Yuhai into a corner and surround him, and make sure he can't attack anyone, so that way he can survive. And then you can control exactly when this door opens. Anyway, one turn after that door opens, we also get enemy reinforcements down here, as well as to the far north. So make sure you are prepared to deal with either of those. I'm going to go ahead and move Eliwu into the corner, and we're going to play for Lyn, so that way she can get moving over there too, and hopefully remain completely safe. And I'm going to keep Lucius down. Actually, yeah, let's keep Lucius down here. Okay. And then I think we are good. Yeah, and this guy's gonna berserk. He is very, very accurate with it. And these guys are just regular druids. Okay, so we can't have... We definitely cannot be dealing with Berserk on top of everything. I wish Hector had been able to use Restore Staffs for this, but I didn't have him staff abuse nearly enough. I probably could have done that in his own chapter. Just have Lucius... I could have just had Lucius stand in the way of one of the poison vents while he constantly healed him up. But it wasn't really necessary. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and... Oh, right, Will has the Warp Staff. Shoot. I can't trade for it unless... Yeah, I can't trade for it just yet. Okay, then, a new plan. Let's just get the Restore off. Or let's get Will restored. Let's take this guy down. What's 12 times 4? 48. Okay, we're good. Woo! Way to conserve one use of the Brave Lance, Jafar. Truly, you are an asset. And then we just need to kill this guy. Let's see. It's 12. 6. Yeah, let's just do it with Lucius. Why not? Woo! Way to dodge, Luscious! I don't know why I've been calling him Luscious this whole time. I don't know. It fits. It fits. Silver Bow will do. Yeah, Rebecca would have been able to deal more damage to that guy, though, than Renault. But having chip damage from a sniper is useful, so I figured why not. Let's go ahead and use up a warp. Why not? I mean, why not? We're already here anyway. I do want to make sure I keep Will out of his regular attack range. Yeah, no, we're good, we're good. And Eclipse, you don't need to worry about that. As a long-range tome, Eclipse is pretty pathetic. All Eclipse can ever do is reduce your HP by half. The only way it will kill you is if your HP is down to 1. I hope I don't regret breaking the Warp Staff there. Anyway, let's go ahead and Luna you down. Yeah, if you don't have a Luna or you want to try and play things a bit safer, Forblaze, I believe, boosts Athos's luck by 5 points. Aureola boosts resistance by 5 points, so that makes him very tanky against these mages. I believe the Durandal and Armads have similar effects. Not as useful, though, but similar. Alright. And we get to show off Imbulvator again. I think this chapter is the first time I've actually shown what the spell looks like. I believe it's I forget what language it is, but it translates to Winter Storm, or maybe just Winter. How are we doing on Luna's? Oh, perfect, fine. And I guess I can go over some lore about Nurgle. So if what I've been reading is accurate, Nurgle is the Mesopotamian god of war, and the name of the weapon he's using, I'm gonna butcher this whole so badly. Erish Kagel? Yeah, she is the Mesopotamian goddess of death, or it's named after her. In one legend, Nurgle attempted to kill her to become the Lord of Death or something to that effect, and Erish Kagel, in order to save her own hide or something to that effect, proposed an end to the fighting in exchange for marrying Nurgle, so that way he can become a Lord of War and Death. So I guess that's a fitting relationship between Nurgle and his role in this story as a antagonist, since he's capable of, since he was attempting to start a large-scale war to harvest the life essence of the people who died in it. Yeah, very fitting, I suppose. Let's go ahead and make sure we get the rest of the army close enough, but not so close that they get killed by these druids. Oh no! Athos got hurt. Well, he's gonna make you pay for that, dude. Oh yeah, and Nurgle's class Dark Druid is unique to him. It's basically the exact same thing as Athos's Arc Sage. I do believe he gets higher stat caps though. Yeah, his defense is a lot higher. But Luna just massacres the guy. He doesn't even put up a fight. Can't even reach. Let's see. How many steps south of the stairs can you reach? Okay, so this spot right here, perfectly safe. Let's go ahead and heal up that damage from Athos, shall we? Yay, another level up for Will! This chapter's turning out to be a surprisingly good EXP fest. Too bad my level ups aren't being all that useful, though. Alright, well, let's go ahead and make sure we get everyone as close as possible. Then again, I do want to be able to rescue Drop Canas. There we go. Thank you, Lucius. Yeah, but Athos was part of the reason why I wasn't at all concerned about the final chapter. He can basically almost clear this thing entirely by himself. Having other well-trained units definitely helps out, but Athos is pretty much all you need to get by most of the enemies in this chapter. Although he did get hit again. Athos, how dare you? How very dare you? And he also has an S rank in staves. I didn't get to show that off. It was part of the reason why I ditched Wrath for another combat unit, is because Athos being able to use S rank staves was actually a very valuable thing. Alright. And then we're just going to park Athos at the edge of Nurgle's range. Fortunately, he doesn't move. Or at the very least, he's never moved on any playthrough I've done. Not even in my practice one. Well, my practice attempt at this map. And all three of your lords will have a conversation with them should they enter combat with Nurgle, as does Athos, or Athos, however you pronounce his name. I don't know. I'm always going to get it wrong. Anyway, as will Athos, and Nino, I believe she can talk to Nurgle too. She basically gets mad at him for murdering her real family. I'm just gonna skip it though. But doesn't he look neat? Excuse me. Dorcas might be able to kill him. Why not? Why not? Let's go for it. Thank you, Luna. Oh no, he missed. Well, fortunately, Athos has a 100% hit rate. Anyway, Athos's 2 magic tomes that he brought, and as well as the legendary weapons, I believe, have a effective damage against. Well, no, Forblaze doesn't, but Areola does. Yeah, let's go ahead and show it off. It's very flashy. Oh, and this boss music, or this music you're hearing, that's unique to legendary weapons. I don't know if it plays with Forblaze, but it plays with Areola, Durandal, and Armads, as well as the Soul Cadi. Alright, anyway, why must I lose? Because you're pathetic, Nurgle. You should be more like Kratos. Anyway, there is more to the final chapter. Actually, let's just go ahead and skip right to that. It's finished! Well, you'd think that, but nope. Dragons! Fortunately, to a plot device, 2 of the 3 dragons were killed off, but we still have 1 more to deal with. But I will save that for next time. For now, thank you all for watching, and I will see you then. Space Oyster, signing out.